Finding a comfortable seat for the practice today. You might want to sit on a cushion or a blanket, something to lift up the hips. We're just going to take a couple of breaths to arrive here. You might keep the eyes open or take a soft gaze or even close the eyes. And I invite you to come into the space that you're in, coming on to your mat and into your body. You can feel the flow of breath coming in and going out, the rhythm of your body. Then fluttering the eyes open. We're going to send the legs out straight in front, and again, option here to sit on a pillow, a cushion, a blanket if that's more comfortable. And there's some options with the hands here. So you might have the hands on the floor, fingers facing towards you or away from you, or you can have the hands on the legs if you would like here. We're just going to take some movement into the ankles, so flexing through the toes and pointing them away. And then pointing the feet towards and away from each other. Just a few times in each direction. And then we're going to find some circles into the ankle joints. So imagining that you're drawing a big circle with the big toes, taking the circles in one direction and then taking them in the other direction here. Making sure that we're keeping a nice straight spine here as we do these movements. We'll find that lift through the spine as we draw the right knee in and give it a squeeze. And you can bring the hands behind the thigh. I'm just going to straighten into that leg and then draw the leg back in. And you might keep the heel on the floor, or you might explore how it feels to lift the heel up off the floor and just finding this little bit of movement, straightening and bending through that knee. And then releasing that leg and sending it out straight, we'll draw the left leg in. And again here, we'll play with that movement of straightening into the leg and bending it back in, maybe with a little bit of a hovering with the heel lifted off the floor. And you can play with how high you might want to lift that heel. And then giving the legs a little bit of a shake, just releasing in the legs here. And then I'm just going to turn around to face you. Legs out straight. We're going to turn the right toe to face outwards and then let that toe guide the movement as the leg opens and then the toe faces in and we draw the leg back in. So we're finding some different movement into the hips here, and the heel can stay on the floor or you can lift it. I find it much easier to keep the heel on the floor for this one. And then drawing it in. Then we're going to switch sides. The left toe points outwards and we open up through that hip and then closing back again into the hip. And allowing the foot to guide the movement here. And then again, we'll take that little shake with the legs, back and forth, side to side. We're going to come onto a hands and knees position. So wide fingers, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Knees are a hip width apart. We're going to find our cat-cow movement here as the belly comes down and the head lifts. Then we draw the navel into the spine as the chin comes in towards the chest. And you can allow yourself here to flow between the two movements and feel that movement through the spine into the shoulders. Really allow yourself to enjoy this. We're going to send the right leg back behind, maybe on the floor or hovering, then draw that knee all the way forward and through. So we're finding some movement into the hip here as we draw the knee through and we send it back. And drawing the knee in, you might even bring the nose in to touch it. And then returning that knee down to the floor, we'll find that movement to the other side. The left leg extends back and we might lift that leg and draw the knee all the way forward, coming in towards the face. So we're finding this movement, this mobilization into the hip joint here as we send that leg forwards and backwards. And then releasing the knee down. We're going to send the hips over to one side and let the feet come to the other side, then looking over at the feet. And then coming back through center, hips and feet go in opposite directions. We can look over the shoulder towards the feet. And we'll just do that one more time each side. So again, here we're finding just lots of different movements that give us a little bit of different movement into each of the joints. We're going to send the hips back towards the heels here. And if this isn't comfortable, you'd rather be seated, then take that option. We're going to find some mobilization into the wrists. So arms in front, we're going to lift up and send the fingers up towards the ceiling and then lower the fingers down towards the floor. We're then going to face the palms up to the ceiling and bring the little fingers in towards each other and send the wrists out towards the thumbs. So this is often quite a subtle movement. The wrists don't move that far on this plane. We're just exploring that range of movement, and then we're going to find some circles into the wrists. So you might curl the fingers and wrap them around the thumbs here, and then we'll take the circles in the other direction too. And then the palms face up to the ceiling with the arms extended, and we're going to bend into the elbows, bringing the fingers to touch the shoulders and then opening up again here. So mobilizing into the elbow joint, bending and straightening, then we'll bring the elbows into touch and then send the elbows out. So we're finding an opening in both the front and the back of the shoulders here as we move between these two movements. Releasing the hands up, we're going to make a cactus style shape, and then pivoting at the elbows, bring the hands all the way down. So gently again moving between these shapes, finding that cactus shape, and then releasing the hands down. And then releasing the hands. And for this last movement, we're going to sweep the arms up in front of us, reaching up towards the ceiling, and then allow the hands to come all the way back and through so that the arms come behind. So we're exploring the different planes of movement into the shoulder joint here as we take the arms back and behind, and then we reach all the way up. We find that length, that extension. Flowing again between these two different movements. Then we'll release the hands down and come to a comfortable seated position. And again, you can be on top of your blanket or cushion here if you would like to be. We're going to bring the hands onto the knees so that we can find a seated cat-cow here. So we draw the navel into the spine as we curve the spine, and then send the shoulders and the chest forward as you're rocking between these two shapes. So kind of feeling that movement on the two different sides of the sitting bone. Then we'll reach the left hand to the floor as the right arm reaches over, coming back through center, and then taking it over to the other side. So finding these side body stretches, keeping both sitting bones on the floor. Sweep both arms all the way up, and we're going to come down with a twist. So the left hand crosses to the right thigh, the right fingertips come behind us. We can inhale here and lengthen, exhale, twist, looking over the right shoulder. We'll inhale back to the center, reaching the arms all the way up and then crossing them over to the other side. Right hand to the left thigh, left hand comes behind. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to twist. Just taking those movements once again to each side, inhaling and coming back to the center in between, and then finding the twist, inhaling to center and finding the twist, and exploring that range of movement into your body here. Reach the arms up one last time, the palms will touch overhead, and we'll draw the hands down in front of the heart space here. and then releasing the hands down. Take a little bit of movement into the neck now, drawing the chin towards the chest, and then sending the gaze up towards the ceiling, but without crunching in the neck here. So imagine that you're drawing a line with your nose, chin comes down, and then taking the gaze up. We'll do that one more time as the chin comes down to the chest, and then taking the gaze up to the ceiling. Coming back to neutral, we'll take the gaze over the right shoulder, and come back to the center and over the left shoulder. And again here, just exploring a couple more times that movement into the neck. And then we'll come back to center, keeping the shoulders exactly where they are. You're going to send the right ear towards the right shoulder. Come back to center, left ear to left shoulder, and back to center. And just again here, alternating between these two sides, and just feeling into that sensation, that stretch coming into the side of the neck. Invite you to just take any movement that feels right in your body. So you might take some different movements with the shoulders, with the arms here before we come down onto our backs. And we're just going to have a very short period of time here just to integrate all of those movements. So you can have the knees bent or straighten out. If the legs are straight, you can take the hips to the heels to the outer edge of the mat, let the toes roll out. Snuggle the shoulder blades down the spine and just allow yourself to come down to the floor and to feel that sense of being supported by the earth underneath you, and feeling that sense of support throughout your entire body, allowing the body to relax and release here. Take a little wiggle of the fingers and the toes as you start to gently wake the body back up. You might take a big stretch if that feels good for you as you reach the arms and legs away from each other before drawing the knees into the body, giving yourself a hug. You might take a rock from side to side, and then we're going to gently come back up to a seated position. And we'll take one last movement together. We sweep the arms up and round. The palms touch overhead and we draw the hands down in front of the heart space, and we close our practice. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.